As you guys know, this business is seriously like 90% mindset, and 10% action. So if you can get your mind right and focus on your thoughts and all of these things, you will go so much farther. So take it away, Ash.
Okay, hi guys. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right in. This is kind of a mix of, I'm a reader, so I read a lot of Rachel Hollis. So it's kind of a mix of her, and also I've been doing trainings with Bob Heilig for Legacy Leadership Academy, and he talks a lot about mindset and how it's super important to the success of your business. So I'm just gonna start off first with like the negative mindset aspect. So basically fear is what is holding you back, and fear is imagining that negative outcome before you even do any action. So it's like imagining like you reaching out to someone and you're just assuming that they're going to say no, and that you're going to be like, oh, well, that's it. Which is not good, because you're really telling yourself a red light. Bob Heilig calls it a red light story. And it's like already stopping yourself from doing what you were already thinking of doing. So like you're thinking about doing something for your business that you know would be good. So like, oh, I should reach out to so-and-so because I think she'd be a really good business partner. But then before you even reach out to her, you're thinking about 10 different ways that it's going to go. You're thinking like, oh, she could say no, she could lead me on and then not join. Or like you're thinking of all of these different things, but you're not thinking of like, well, what if she says yes? What are you going to do? Like, that's the thing that you need to be thinking about. And then leading out of that, like kind of feeding into those red light stories are excuses that we make for ourselves of why to not do what we should be doing for our business. So one of the first excuses is like, oh, I don't have time. Like, I'm just so busy with other things right now. I have so much going on in my life. I have my kids, I have my husband, I have my boyfriend, or whatever you got going on, even in quarantine. The thing is you guys have to make time. You have to plan out your success. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's not like all of a sudden, like you posting one thing on Instagram a day, you're going to blow up. Like, you have got to dedicate some time, even if it's just an hour, a straight hour, just to focus on your business with no distractions. For the longest time, I was totally a person of this. Like when I was in school, I was overly stressed. I felt very overwhelmed. And I thought, I just don't have time for my business. It's not that important. Like I just got to focus on school and get this degree. When in reality, if I would have rather just dedicated 1 hour of my time instead of the 4 to 6 hours that I was doing little things to it, I probably would have been a lot more successful, a lot faster. Not that you can't do it that way, but if you want success fast, you really need to be able to dedicate just 1 hour of your day. And also just like, you need to see, like, if you were to schedule your day, are your activities for you, or are they revolving around other people? Are they revolving around like what your kids need, what your husband needs, and I'm not saying that family isn't important, but you have to like be selfish a little bit. You know, you got to be selfish, because like if you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? Like, everyone can plan for their someday, but like, when is someday going to happen? It's not just going to happen. So you need to be able to plan your success. Another excuse that I think a lot of people think but don't necessarily acknowledge is like, you don't deserve to succeed, or you're not enough to succeed. I struggle with this personally. Just the fact that like I'm not enough for everyone and I'm trying to be everywhere at once. But you have to, once again, stop imagining things that you haven't tried. Like if Ashleigh suggests to you, hey, you should try going live on Instagram and see how it goes, but you're scared of putting yourself in front of the camera and you're just thinking, oh, no one's going to care. That's not true. Like, people are watching you, whether you know it or not, whether they're actually reaching out to you. You know, I had a girl just a few weeks back. I posted on my story, on my IGTV, on lives about my anxiety for months. And she just reached out to me and was like, oh my gosh, like, you're so inspiring. I love your lives. in IGTVs where you talk about anxiety, because I have anxiety too. And I don't even know this girl. And she was actually listening and I didn't know. I was just putting this out there hoping someone was watching, you know? So you have to create like a truth that makes this lie irrelevant. So if you're saying like, oh, I'm scared to do an IGTV, really, the truth is you're not willing to do an IGTV or a live. Like you need to get past that, and to get past that fear, like another example would be like, I can't hit my rank this month. Okay, truth, like it's kind of goes along with manifestation as well, is like, I will hit it. Like, like imagining and like speaking it out into the universe that it is going to happen has a lot more power than I think people realize. And so then
Bob always says, really quick too, Bob always says, like, I love this. He says, negative thoughts create negative results 100% of the time. And that is so true. And when you can really start to catch yourself in those thoughts, guys, like I do it literally all the time. And it's held me back from a lot of things in my business and in my personal life. And when you can catch yourself doing it, that's really what's important, is having that self-awareness when you're doing it, and like switch it to like I can verbiage or whatever it is, whatever you have to do to like hype yourself up. That's going to go so far, and you're already kind of putting energy into those positive things rather than manifesting all this fear and anxiety and the unknown. Like you can do what ifs forever, right? But that's just going to cripple you.
Yeah, exactly. And so then when you are thinking these negative thoughts, force yourself to see the positive. You know, I used to think the word yet was like evil. I was like when people are like, oh, I'm not ready yet, I was like, oh my God, another no. Yet is power, you guys. No is always not right now. That doesn't mean that in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, that they're not going to be ready, whether they're a VIP or they're a potential market partner. Like timing is everything. I think Bob Heilig does a really good job explaining this, is like, so imagine like time on a clock, like 12 o'clock. That's the time when people are saying yes. So everyone is on different times. And so when you're constantly reaching out and constantly posting and just relationship building with people, there's going to be a day where they're at 12 o'clock and they're going to say yes to you. There's a day that they're going to be like, oh, you know what? Like, yeah, let's do this. And that's the day you have to kind of wait for. But, you know, you have to give yourself credit for the things you have done as well. So like, for example, say you don't hit your rank, but like, how many VIPs did you enroll this month? How many MPs do you have? Or, you know, what was your PV? What was your GV? Like, did you still have a really good month? Like, I remember on my journey just to MMP, just this last month, or even 2 months ago, like, I had one of my highest, I hit over 1K PV, and that was the first time I ever did that. And I still didn't hit MMP, but I was like, wow, like, look what I did. I still, like, you have to take credit for that. And I think to kind of go back is like, you can't ever give up. Like if I can preach something forever, it will be this, because I've been in this business 10 months. I just hit MMP last month. I'm going for MMB this month. You know, and as there was times like, I mean, Sam knows, but like I would be bawling my eyes out. I was like, I'm so frustrated. I can't figure this out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. You know, but I kept being consistent. I kept showing up. I kept, you know, I was on calls. I was watching trainings. You know, I was trying to improve myself. I was reading things, you know, and it happens. Like I told myself last month, I was like, this is going to happen. And I grinded all the way until the end of the month, and I made it.
And I think too is like you got more intentional with the time you were spending, rather than telling yourself, okay, like I'll watch a training video and that's working my business, right? Like you started doing more income producing activities. And I think you had to kind of get over those limiting beliefs that you had around like that I don't deserve this success or whatever that is. And you finally just like made that switch, and you were just like, I deserve this. I'm getting it. And like it happened, you know, and like no matter how long it takes, you guys, like your time is seriously coming. Quitting will not get you there. That is literally the only way you won't succeed in this business. And Ashleigh, I love her story because she's literally living proof of this. She could have quit a long time ago when, you know, so many things happened, but now she's here to be able to tell this story and help anybody else who's in that situation.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, like like Ashley said, I was working, I was pushing through, and my time is here. You know? So, and then leading on to that, I think when you believe that you're not enough, you know, you're giving power to other people's opinions too. And that also feeds into your fear. And like, you're the only person doing that. You're the only person giving someone else's opinion power. You're giving it weight, which is really what hurts you in the long run. Opinion is not truth. If someone DMs, like if you DM someone, you know, offering them the business or whatever, and they're like, they come at you telling you that our business is a scam and that we're manipulating people, and like they come at you with all these negatives, like that's their opinion. They're also not educated. So, you know, like just educate yourself, please. But like think about, like I was on Instagram scrolling through stories, and I came across this post that someone reposted about, it was like an anti-MLM page. And just for like shits and giggles, I was scrolling through looking at these ridiculous things that they're saying, you know, and like you have to think, like I was thinking, okay, this is their opinion of what I do, but they haven't tried to learn about what I do. They haven't asked me like the details. They don't know anything about it. They're looking at it from an outside perspective, and they're super close-minded. You know, I had like my own family, like when I started, they were like, okay, Ashleigh, we'll see how this goes. And they didn't buy from me. I'm 10 months in the business, and my mom just bought products from me last month. They weren't huge supporters. So I know it's hard to not have like family support and to have their, because family's opinion is very important. But you also have to look at it as like, that's not my truth. I know what this business is, and I can see what it's going to do for me and do for my family. And you don't need them to build your business. Yeah. And that leads me into like, I can't pursue my business and still be a good friend, a good mom, a good wife, a good girlfriend, whatever. This is your time to be selfish. You know, this is your time to really focus on your dreams and what you want. Like if you're not selfish for your dream, someone's going to talk you out of it. Someone's going to say, oh, you can't do that. Like, you know, you have all this stuff going on. Like, you got to do this for you. This is all for you and not for them. And their opinion, like I said, is not truth. So like if you are really wanting to dive in, like you have to be willing to have a little bit of tough skin, which is hard. But you know, you got to have some tough skin and just know that like they're not spitting truth. So now to get into the more positive side of things, I want to talk about the mindset that you need. Bob Heilig has coined this term, but it's the growth mindset. This is where you view your failure as an opportunity to grow. So in a way, like, because you can grow from failure and become better, but if you're just like an overnight success, you don't know like if there's anything you're doing wrong, or you know, you're not really learning anything. We learn from our failures. So I think about all the times that I felt so discouraged because I didn't get another MP, or someone was a potential VIP and said no. But then I looked at like the strategy I was doing, and I was like, what did I do wrong? Why did I turn this person off? You know, and it's also a good time to utilize your upline and ask them like, hey, look at this conversation, and what did I do wrong to like turn them off, or what went wrong in that call or something. Because they can give you tips because they're an outside perspective looking in and help you develop what you need. You know, and I think another big thing is you can't define yourself by your failures. If I defined myself by my failures, I would not be here on this call right now. I would have given up a long time ago. You know, failure is key. this is a cool way to think about it, the faster you fail, the faster you're going to succeed. So like we say, like, go for no, the more no's you get, that's the closer you're getting to a yes. And with no's, we need to start thinking of getting no's as the beginning of our recruitment process, or, gaining customers. If you're messaging people and they're like, oh no, I'm just not into that right now, you'd be like, okay. And that's when the real work starts. Oh my God, my ring light just fell.
Oh my God, no. I love that. That's so true though. Like, I feel like people, it holds them back because they're scared to hear that no. But honestly, guys, like 9 times out of 10, like that's what I get. That's what I anticipate at this point, honestly. Like, not that I want them to say no or anything, but I'm prepared for somebody to say no, and I don't take it personally. And I think that that's the biggest thing, is not taking it personally and not letting it affect you up here. Because there's people out there that are going to say yes, and those people are going to turn and come back around. And so I think that's just where, like, growing your mindset is so huge, and like being so passionate and confident in what this is, that doesn't even faze you. You're like excited to hear somebody say no, because that means you're doing your job.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that's where you're gonna you're gonna relationship build with them. Be like, okay, no worries, the door's always open. And then, but if that's the last time they hear from you after they say no, they're gonna think, oh yeah, this girl was just trying to get me in on this thing. That's when people think we're a scam. I know I was approached about money probably 7 times before I joined, not by the same person. I would say no. I said no to 6 of them, and I never heard from those people again. And I was like, okay, it's kind of weird. It's kind of scammy. And then finally I was approached, for the 7th time. And I was like, all right, well, this is the 7th time I'm hearing about this. Like, what is going on? And I finally took the time to actually learn about it. And then I was like, wow, like, this isn't a scam. This is a real business. This is a real opportunity for me to grow. But
imagine it, like, guys, like Tessa was her upline who doesn't really do the business anymore, but this girl, imagine if Tessa didn't offer it to her and just assumed that Ashleigh wouldn't be into it, right? But little did she know, Ashleigh had heard about it 6 times, and it took that 7th time of Tessa offering to have something spark, like, interest-wise. And so you have to think, you never know, like, who's already been offered the business. Like, you never know when it's going to be the right time for somebody. You have to just go for it, because it might be you that gets them to join, because maybe they relate to you more than the 6 other people that asked them to join. Maybe it was your approach that stands out to them more. Like, you never know what it is that's going to make somebody say yes.
Yeah, for sure. So, and then make sure, like, even so you're taking responsibility for your failures and acknowledging them and what you need to do to get better. But you also need to take responsibility for your success. Like, yes, we're on a team and we all support each other and help each other, but you're the one that did it. You're the one that reached out to that girl. You're the one that got that VIP. Like, appreciate that and take responsibility for that. Like, I did that. And so some mindset shifts that are really good to do is you really need to focus on your activity and not your results, which I know sounds weird because, like, we're very like, what did we produce? Like, what are we doing? But the thing is by the time that you actually see results, 99% of your work is done, like, by the time that you get that person to say yes, think about all the work that you put in up to that. You've been consistent, engaging with them, posting a new story about products or the business. And then they're like, oh yeah, let me do it. And you're like, okay, awesome. Because think about it. When you sign someone up, it takes like 2-5 minutes. Like, it doesn't take very long. So really, it's not the work of actually signing someone up. It's getting them to that point. So 99% of your work is already done. And like I've said a million times, consistency is key. You really got to be consistent on, if you're using social media, like, make sure you're posting about it, and like we say, like, your Instagram or Facebook, whatever you're using, should be 20% business and 80% your life. because people relate to you, and then that establishes trust. You know, and so you need to stay consistent, because you may not see results right away, but that's totally fine. You know, and don't give up because of that. Just keep trucking along, and like, people are watching, even though you may not think they are. And the problem with focusing on results is that what your expectations are. So when you post a story about the business, you know, I mean, I'm capable of this too. Like, I think, oh, one person's going to see it and they're going to think, oh my God, like, this is for me, and reach out to me. No, that's like really not the case. I've hardly ever had someone reach out to me about the business from a story. You know, so I'm just trying to be consistent so people know, like, oh, she's not just in this for like the short term, like she's going in this for the long term. And I think what's also dangerous about expectations is, like, we all have high expectations for ourselves. And when we don't meet them, so like, for example, like, say you want to like double rank this month. If you don't hit that rank, you get down on yourself, which makes you even more discouraged, which makes you even more not wanting to actually take action and push yourself. Like, and even though we are like, we have like a month to hit, like 30 days to hit our new ranks or hit our goals that we have set for ourselves, you know, sometimes results like don't happen in our time frame. Timing really is everything. You know, I truly think if I were to hit MMP sooner than I did, I'm not sure I would appreciate it as much as I did now. I look back at all the growth that had to happen between when I joined to the time I hit MMP, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that needed to happen. It needed to wait. You know, so we have to be okay with that, which is difficult. You know, but as long as we're consistent and like we're having consistent habits, you know, like those income producing activities, if you're doing that every day, you will be successful. You know, on average, it takes 65 days to form a habit. So you think 65 days, that's like a little over 2 months or so. So that is, you know, you have to make sure you're doing those income, like if you're going to do those producing activities, you have to do them like every day for those 65 days until it becomes like, just like almost like muscle memory. Like, you're just like, okay, I need to do this and this, to make sure I'm being consistent in my business. And then I know we talked about like, stop looking at no as like the end of your recruiting process, but more like the beginning. You know, this gives you a long-term mentality. It gives you time. It gives you moments to think like, okay, so this is happening. This person said no. So now I'm going to engage on their stories. I'm going to talk to them about, you know, their dog or just like their life, and get to know them so that you can identify where this business can really help them. That's the long-term goal. I think a lot of us get stuck in the short-term goal, like, oh, for my rank this month, I need 3 active MPs. So I'm just going to go message these 3 girls that I think would be good. And then when they tell you no, you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's it. And that's like the second day of the month, but you still have 28 more days. Like, what are you doing with those 28 more days? You know, and if you're getting stuck in that relationship building part, that's where I struggled. Fear is what is holding you back from sharing your business or your products. You know, it's because like, yeah, if you're talking to them about their life and they're telling you, oh, you know, I hate my job, or, oh yeah, I just hate going to work, or yeah, my hair is just annoying today. Or, you know, they're sharing little tidbits with you about their life that you could really come in and be like, oh, well, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. You know, I used to hate my job, and I found this opportunity that I found to help me kind of have a little outlet from that for now. And eventually can, you know, like, you can build from that, rather than just be like, oh yeah, I understand. Like, you need to be able to approach them with, like we say, like, we're giving them a solution, you know, we're not just selling them products, or
I
selling
think that
them our
comes
business.
with like your inner confidence too, and like
Mhm.
just building up like your mental toughness, and literally all of this just goes back to your mindset and your belief within, with you and the opportunity, because that's what really holds a lot of people back. You guys know what to do, and there's tasks and there's power hours. It's like just this mental block that happens with so many people. And people might even be giving you pain points while you're talking to them, but you still don't offer because you're scared, or, you know, whatever it is that's holding you back. So yeah, we love Bob Heilig. Is that how you say his last name? But like, your virtual upline podcast is seriously amazing, you guys. Like, utilize podcasts. I know it's so silly, whatever. Find what works for you. Like, I'm totally not a reader. I know Ash is a reader. Like, I have to listen to audibles while I walk or a podcast or something, but that has seriously transformed my mentality, and just makes you realize what you need to overcome.
Exactly. And something else to overcome is like, this is more on the recruiting aspect, but stop looking for that one right person that you think is going to transform your business. If you can imagine the type of person that you want to recruit, are you them? Do you have all those same qualities and all, like, are you doing all those activities and being consistent? Like, do you have all those traits in yourself? Because that's just as important, because you're going to attract similar people. So if you're inconsistent and, you know, if you're still skeptical about the business, if, you know, you're not really trying to work it, you're going to attract people that are like, kind of want like a quick fix for an income, which isn't what this is. So, you know, like, you don't pursue success. It's like Bob Heilig says this, you don't pursue success. It's something you attract to you by the person you're becoming, or you become. So like, the energy that you're putting out into the world, the mindset that you have is the mindset of other people that are coming to you, or like that you're reaching out to. And then I really like this phrase that Bob Heilig uses. Obviously, I listen to him a lot. But he says, feeling stuck in your business is a reminder from your soul that you've stopped growing in life. So if you feel like you've hit the top, you know, you're doing everything you can do and you're just not moving, that's your soul's telling you, like, you needed to change something because you're not growing anymore. These activities aren't, you know, inspiring you anymore or moving you along. And then to, you know, wrap this up for my part, you know, just like how to grow, how to, you know, get VIPs and MPs. You have to, simply put it, you have to fail faster. Reaching out to 10 people a day about the business and products, like, isn't enough. Like, you know, I used to think, oh, I reached out to 10 people today, that's enough. You know, I can do that. And I realized, like, those 10 people sometimes wouldn't even respond to me. And I was like, why don't I cast a wider net and, you know, reach out or react to people's stories or send them a message or comment on a photo, and to like 30 people, 50 people, you know, because chances are, if you have more chances of more people reaching back out to you and being like, oh, hey, you know, or something. You know, and you just really have to learn to let go of control. Really, you have to really get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So that's kind of all I have to say. I'll just wrap it up with this, but the quality of your life and your business success will be in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty you are comfortable with. So, you know, if you're okay, like, you know, reaching out to 100 people, you know, you're the one that's in charge of that. Your upline can't do it for you. Your sideline can't do it for you. Your mom can't do it for you. That's all on you. You got to do it. So that's all I got. So I'll let
Love it.
get
Thank
on.
you, Ash. So I have just kind of a little portion that I wanted to share with you guys, and then we can get you going. But I was listening to a podcast today, actually, and it was Ed Milet, and he did an interview with like this pro golf player, whatever you want to call it, pro golf guy, pro golfer, Tanner's laughing at me. But anyways, he said, you know, what is the difference between people at the top versus others? And they kind of talked about it in like golf terms, but then he related it to how, you know, athletes and CEOs have the same mentality and they do some of the same things. And so the biggest thing is visualization, right? So having that clarity on like your vision and where you're going and like seeing that every day and playing it out in your head is so huge. So what the guy kind of talked about was, he said that he was like, I don't know, number 3 like golfer in the world or something crazy like that. He was clearly like very successful at the top. And he said that he did like this training thing where he would do 100 putts in a row. And if he missed, he would have to start over. And he was talking about how it took him hours and hours. And like, he was almost there. But he missed the 100th, right? And then he had to start all over again. But the next time he did it, he got all 100 in a row. And then he told another guy that came to him that was like, how are you so great at what you do? And he's like, hey, do this exercise. And the guy, and then he checks back in and the guy's like, oh, you know, it's fine. I did like 50 here and there, but you know, to be honest, I didn't really actually do it. And so he said that's the biggest difference with that is like being willing to do whatever it takes, because a lot of people won't. Right? In this business, we can give tasks to people, we can give suggestions, but if you're half-assing it or not doing, you know, it to the best of your ability with your full heart and soul, and being willing to do whatever it takes, it's really just like, you're not going to have that result that you want. Right? And he was talking about the ability to visualize and see your success before it even happens. And guys, like, this is what a lot of like athletes and successful people do. They like, whether it's before bed, before they're gonna perform or whatever it is, like visualize yourself hitting that goal. What is it going to feel like? Like, who are you gonna be surrounded by? And that's the kind of thoughts that you should be having and playing it out in your head. And he was talking about how they actually did a study on, it was for baseball players, and I found this to be so interesting. So they did one group, it was like I don't know, they had like 3 subject groups, right? The first group was, they only like swung, and they didn't visualize. And then there was another group that only visualized but didn't physically do the movement. And then there was the third group who got to do both. And surprisingly, the people that spent a lot of their time visualizing them hitting that home run, they did better than the people who were physically practicing. So that just goes to show, like, and obviously when you combine the two, you're going to do even better. But I just found that to be so crazy, because if your mind is not right, the action behind it is almost pointless in a sense, because you're doing it maybe out of fear or whatever is going on in your head. And so the people that see the clearest rise to the top versus people who lack the clarity and cannot visualize their success. And he was saying how visualization and mental preparation is just as important as physical. So that, you know, physical for us looks like income producing activities, messaging people, showing up on social media, but also having that visualization of people coming around and saying yes, or you seeing that 100% thing on your rank wheel in your life that you've been dying for. Like, I get that. I log onto my account and I literally obsess. Like, I want to show you guys, this is literally my background, okay? It's the MMM rank wheel at 100%, and it says, I am a leader, I am MMM, I build MMBs, keep pushing, my time is coming. Because those are all things that I need to be visualizing and hearing from myself every day. And that helps a lot. Every time I open my phone, I look at that. So your mind is going to gravitate towards whatever it's familiar with. So if you're obsessing over failure and fear and things just not happening for you, like, that is just doing you absolutely no good. And it's just going to make you resent where you're at, your team potentially, all of these things. And so you have to just make that switch and do whatever it is. Go on a walk, listen to a podcast, talk to your upline, to have more of that positive mindset. But that is all we really have for you. I hope this was so helpful. If you guys want to like share your favorite podcasts or books in the chat really quick, maybe we could do that so we can all get ideas. But this is seriously so huge. Like every night, I want you guys to visualize yourself hitting that rank, recruiting your dream team, getting clear on who that is. Be so clear on where you're headed with this and what you want that literally nothing is going to stop you. You are a badass. Rachel Hall is real self-apologetic. Unfuck yourself. Oh, I feel weird swearing on a team call. Yay. Okay, cool. Well, we can always share in group chats too, but thank you guys so much. And I hope you have an amazing night. Thank you so much, you guys. Bye.